Hi folks, I'm Veena. Welcome to Patty Cake. Today I'll show you how to make a traditional and beloved Goan Christmas sweet. Light and flaky, layered Neuri or Karanji, with detailed instructions on how to get the recipe right. The filling in my recipe has a special ingredient that will give the Neuri an even more indulgent taste. I have also added a new kind of layering paste or sata that will ensure beautifully separated, delicate layers in the Neuri. Now let me show you how I make this popular delight. Let's start by preparing a rich, delectable filling for the Karanjis. In this pan, I have 2 teaspoons of ghee. The heat is on medium. Now I'll add in 2 tablespoons of chopped almonds and 2 tablespoons of chopped cashew nuts. We'll roast these for a minute or so and then add in 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. Let's roast everything for a minute and turn off the heat. And then add in 1.5 tablespoons of raisins that I've chopped into halves. You can keep them intact if you want. Then remove the roasted mixture to a large bowl. To the same pan, I'll add 2 teaspoons of ghee and then add in 3 tablespoons of fine rava or semolina. You could also use regular rava. We'll roast this on medium heat till it changes color a little. And then remove it to the same bowl as before. The stove is turned off, but to the hot pan, we have to now add 1 tablespoon of ghee and roast some mawa. If you can source unadulterated mawa, then add 120 grams of it to the ghee. But if you can't get good mawa, then here's how you could make your own instant homemade mawa. To the ghee, we'll add 2/3 of a cup of milk powder or dairy whitener and a 1/4 cup of room temperature milk. Let's mix this till we have a smooth paste. And then turn on the heat, keep it on low or medium-low and cook the mix, moving it around constantly. Mawa is the special ingredient that will enrich our Neuri filling and make it several times tastier. Once the mawa forms a soft lump and comes away from the pan, we'll add 1 teaspoon of ghee to it and cook it for a minute longer. Then we'll take it off into a small bowl. And here's our instant homemade mawa. We'll now let it cool to room temperature. The mawa has cooled and you could now crumble it with your fingers or by using a fork, like this. And now that our roasted mixture too has cooled, we'll add in the 120 grams of crumbled mawa, half a teaspoon of ground cardamom, 25 grams, that's a 1/4 cup of shredded dry coconut. You could also add desiccated coconut, and 60 grams, that's half a cup plus 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar. Our super tasty filling is now ready. Next, we'll prepare the dough for the outer covering. Into this parat, I'll sift 1.5 cups of maida or all-purpose flour. To it, I'll add a 1/4 cup of fine rava or semolina and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Here I have 2 tablespoons of hot melted ghee. Let's pour it over the flour mix. I'll mix everything first with a spoon and then with my hand till the ghee is well mixed into the flour. And then, carefully adding a little water at a time, I'll knead a stiff dough. I'll transfer this to a bowl, cover it, and let it rest for around 15 minutes. In the meanwhile, let's prepare the layering paste or sata as it is called, usually prepared by mixing ghee and cornflour, that's cornstarch. But I'll show you a new way of preparing it. Here I have 2.5 tablespoons of ghee. It should be semi-solid like this. And to this, I'll add a 1/4 cup of custard powder. I'm adding raspberry flavored custard powder. This will give our Karanjis a pale shell pink color. But you could add custard powder of any other flavor too. this is optional. And since custard powder is nothing but flavoured cornflour, in place of this, you could add a quarter cup of regular cornflour. And we'll also add another ingredient, 1 tablespoon of rice flour. This will give the layers in the Karanji a crisper texture. If you don't have rice flour, you could just add 1 tablespoon of corn flour instead. Let's whip the ingredients into a smooth, easily spreadable paste. Let's cover this and keep it aside. Now let's turn back to our dough. I'll knead it lightly and then divide it into 5 balls of more or less equal size. We'll keep 4 of them covered in a bowl and roll out this one into a medium thin oblong sheet. You could dust the rolling board with a little maida if needed. Note the thickness of the sheet. It's slightly thinner than the chapati. I'll transfer this to a thali. There's no need to dust the thali with maida. Let's roll out another ball of dough in a similar way and transfer it to the same thali. I've rolled out all the 5 dough balls and placed them on 2 thalis. But remember, you have to keep these covered to prevent them from drying out. I'll now spread out one of them on the rolling board. After roughly dividing the sata into 5 portions, I'll now spread 1 portion thinly and uniformly on this sheet. And then add a light dusting of maida over it and place the second sheet on this one. Seeing that the edges of both sheets align, gently move your palm over the top sheet to remove any air bubbles trapped between the 2 sheets. Now spread some sata on this second sheet as well. Then dust it with a little maida and repeat the whole process with the rest of the sheets too. This is the 5th and last dough sheet, after which I'll firmly roll the stack of dough sheets, pausing now and then to pull back the rolled up part so that we have a tightly rolled up cylinder. Ensure the edge is sealed by gently rolling the cylinder backwards and forwards. After that, carefully draw out the cylinder or roll lengthwise so that it increases a little in length. Then slice off the uneven ends and cut it across its width to divide it into 2 smaller rolls. We'll keep one part covered and then slice the other one into discs around 2 centimeters broad. Now let's keep the discs covered as we begin rolling out this one. You can see the different layers inside this disc. Place the disc down with a cut side with the exposed layers on top. Then using your palm, press it down and forwards a little, like this. Now after dusting the rolling board and the dough disc with a little maida, we have to roll the disc carefully but not too thin. It should be like a small puri and should be around 3 to 3.5 inches in diameter. Notice how the layers are clearly visible on this side. As a rule, this is the side that should be underneath when filling the Karanji. So we'll flip the puri so that the side with distinct layers is on the underside. And then place around a tablespoon of filling in the center of the rolled out dough. Now something about the layers. But remember, sometimes you may not get this right. I'll wet the edges of the dough disc with water. Fold it over the filling to form a semicircle and then seal the curved edge. Let's trim the Neuri with a pastry cutter and use a fork to give it a nice border. Let's roll out another disc. Similarly, I'll roll out the rest of the discs and keep all the neuris covered. Now let's move to the other row. We'll shape Karanjis out of this differently. I'll first cut the roll carefully, lengthwise, into 2 parts. And then cut each part into segments, each of them around 3 centimeters broad. Notice the layers on the underside. Okay, now while we keep the other pieces covered, we'll roll this one out. First, place the piece on your palm with its underside down and press it down lightly. This will make the layers spread out a little. Now, after dusting the rolling surface with maida, we'll place the piece with that same side down and then roll it out, applying medium pressure. First lengthwise and then breadthwise. We'll roll it into a roughly rectangular shape. Let me show you how the layers have spread out on the underside. We'll place this rolled out disc down so that the layers stretch from side to side and not from up to down. Hope that's clear. And now we'll place some filling on top and shape the Neuri. We'll make a different border design this time. I'll move this Neuri to a thali and keep it covered. Let's roll out and shape another Neuri in the same way. I'm done with shaping all the Karanjis. And it's now time to fry them. Here I have oil heating on a medium-low flame. Now that it is hot enough, we'll reduce the heat to low. Frying on low heat will help the layers separate. Don't crowd the pan because layered Neuri are delicate. Mine is a small kadai, so I'm frying just 2 at a time. For the first minute or so, don't touch the Karanjis at all. After that, splash some hot oil over them, and you'll notice how the layers begin to separate when you do that. We have to fry these Karanjis slowly for around 2 minutes on each side to give them time to become crisp. Let's flip these. Wow! Just look at how well the layers have separated. These are done. You can see how the custard powder we used has given the Neuris a beautiful shell pink color. Drain away some of the oil from between the layers and then place the Neuris into a strainer with a plate below it to let the rest of the oil drain out. Position the Neuris so that the oil can easily drain out from between the layers. And then transfer them to a bowl lined with an absorbent paper towel. Let's continue with the frying. Now let's fry the other kind of Neuris. Notice how the layers run from side to side in these Neuris. But even if the layers don't separate fully to your satisfaction, the outer covering of all the Neuris will be amazingly flaky. I'm done with the frying. Just look at these beauties. Pretty, aren't they? They're so pretty, it breaks my heart to crack one open for you. But I simply must show you the texture of these layered Karanjis, right? Listen. That's how crisp and flaky they are. And just look at the layers inside. And here's one of the 2 Neuris I made with the end pieces I had cut off and all the trimmings. I rolled these out like regular Neuris, so no separated layers. But they too have a flaky outer covering. After the Karanjis cool, store them in an airtight container. The Karanjis will stay good for around 2 weeks at room temperature. So do give my recipe a shot and surprise your family with something truly special. 2 stunning styles of layered Neuri or Karanji. See you soon with yet another yummy recipe for Christmas. Till then, stay blessed and stay connected.